The cockpit of Flight 812 didn't smell of jet fuel. It smelled of ancient parchment and ozone. Captain Miller stared at the horizon, where the clouds weren't vapor, but massive, rolling bolts of gray silk. Below them, the Atlantic Ocean had been replaced by a shimmering, flat map made of ink. He checked his instruments, but the glass dials had turned into compasses with needles made of bone. "Tower, we've lost the sky," he radioed. The response wasn't a voice, but the rhythmic, mechanical clicking of a loom. The aircraft felt heavy, as if it were being pulled by invisible wires. The co-pilot turned toward Miller, his face a blur of static. "The destination has been rewritten, Captain. We aren't landing in New York. We're being woven into the archive." He reached for the throttle, but his hand was now a cluster of silver gears that turned with a cold hiss. Miller looked out the side window and saw a giant silver needle, miles long, dipping in and out of the clouds. It was stitching the contrails of the plane into the fabric of the sky, anchoring them to a storm that didn't move. The plane was becoming a permanent embroidery on the horizon. Suddenly, the cabin pressure dropped and the air turned freezing. The passengers weren't screaming. They were perfectly still, their skin turning a dull, matte gray. They were being flattened, their three-dimensional lives compressed into two-dimensional illustrations for a cosmic book of history. "I won't let you close the book," Miller roared. He grabbed the manual override, but the controls felt soft like wet clay. He realized the plane was no longer made of aluminum. It was a paper glider in a world of ink, and the weaver was preparing to turn the page. He remembered an old pilot's legend about the fold, a place where the air was thin enough to tear. He pushed the nose down, diving toward the ink map ocean. If he couldn't fly through the sky, he would break through the paper. The engine screamed with a metallic, human wail. The silver needle chased them, piercing the tail of the plane. Miller felt a sharp, stinging pain in his own spine. He was the pilot, the soul of the craft, and the thread was passing through him. He pulled the fire suppression handle, releasing a cloud of red chemical foam. The red foam acted like an eraser. Where it touched the sky silk, the gray fabric dissolved into a chaotic white void. The weaver let out a sound like 1,000 violins snapping. The rigid geometry of the storm began to fray, the clouds unraveling into harmless, white mist. "Mayday! Mayday! This is Flight 812. We are in a hard descent," Miller yelled. The bone needles on the dashboard shattered, and the digital screens flickered back to life. The co-pilot's face returned to flesh, though he looked like he had woken up from a 1,000-year sleep. They splashed down 5 miles off the coast of Ireland. The plane stayed afloat, bobbing in the salty, real water.